A man who procrastinates in his choosing will inevitably have his choice made for him by circumstance. I hate to advocate drugs, alcohol, violence, or insanity to anyone, but they've always worked for me. Too weird to live, too rare to die. Life has become immeasurably better since I have been forced to stop taking it seriously. If you're going to be crazy, you have to get paid for it or else you're going to be locked up. Some may never live, but the crazy never die. When the going gets weird, the weird turn professional. In a closed society where everybody's guilty, the only crime is getting caught. In a world of thieves, the only final sin is stupidity. I have a theory that the truth is never told during the 9 to 5 hours. It never got weird enough for me. We cannot expect people to have respect for law and order until we teach respect to those we have entrusted to enforce those laws. I was not proud of what I had learned, but I never doubted that it was worth knowing. Freedom is something that dies unless it's used. Yesterday's weirdness is tomorrow's reason why. It was obvious that he was a man who marched through life to the rhythms of some drum I would never hear. You better take care of me, Lord. If you don't, you're gonna have me on your hands. Weird behavior is natural in smart children, like curiosity is to a kitten. For every moment of triumph, for every instance of beauty, many souls must be trampled. I feel the same way about disco as I do about herpes. It was one of those fine little love stories that can make you smile in your sleep at night. Anything worth doing is worth doing right. I have no taste for either poverty or honest labor, so writing is the only recourse left for me. With the truth so dull and depressing, the only working alternative is wild bursts of madness and filigree. On my tombstone they will carve, "It never got fast enough for me." A word to the wise is infuriating. It was like falling down an elevator shaft and landing in a pool full of mermaids. Faster, faster, until the thrill of speed overcomes the fear of death. No, this is not a good town for psychedelic drugs. Reality itself is too twisted. We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold. Morality is temporary, wisdom is permanent. You can't miss what you never had. I felt a tremendous distance between myself and everything real. Anything that gets your blood racing is probably worth doing. Pray to God, but row away from the rocks. I would feel real trapped in this life if I didn't know I could commit suicide at any time. Turn the goddamn music up. My heart feels like an alligator. Never turn your back on fear. It should always be in front of you, like a thing that might have to be killed. On some days you get what you want, and on others, you get what you need. To make a point of declaring friendship is to cheapen it. For men's emotions are very rarely put into words successfully. If you can't make yourself understood by your friends, you'll be in trouble when your enemies come for you. I'm a relatively respectable citizen. Multiple felon perhaps, but certainly not dangerous. Poor bastard. Wait till he sees the bats. This is the fast lane, folks, and some of us like it here. Graffiti is beautiful, like a brick in the face of a cop. And the sad notes floated out to the patio and hung in the trees like birds too tired to fly. I miss Nixon. Compared to these Nazis we have in the White House now, Richard Nixon was a flaming liberal. I will fight for your right to be weird just as I know you will fight for mine. You took too much, man, too much, too much. My blood is too thick for California. I have never been able to properly explain myself in this climate. You won't find reasonable men on the tops of tall mountains. He had come so far from himself that I don't think he knew who he was anymore. What kind of rat bastard psychotic would play that song right now, at this moment? He that is taught only by himself has a fool for a master. At the top of the mountain we are all snow leopards. An outlaw can be defined as somebody who lives outside the law, beyond the law and not necessarily against it. Who said anything about slicing you up? I just wanted to carve a little Z on your forehead, nothing serious. Jesus. Did I say that? Or just think it? Was I talking? Did they hear me? I glanced over at my attorney, but he seemed oblivious. All energy flows according to the whims of the great magnet. What a fool I was to defy him. A man can live on his wits and his balls for only so long. It's a strange world. Some people get rich and others eat shit and die.